Ivel FM.
So, Anne, how have you been?
Up and down. Fine now. Yeah, really good.
So, this tour you're about to take part in, or undergo, tell me more about it.
Well, I've got a lot to say, basically, and we figured out that the best way to say it would be to do a tour where I could actually talk to people and answer their questions about obesity and how my journey through it might arm them with a few facts, really. I, as we all know, because it got such a lot of publicity at the time, I went for a gastric band operation in Belgium, and it didn't work. And then shortly after that I went on to Celebrity Fit Club, and I didn't tell them about it because it wasn't working, and by then it was irrelevant to me. But somebody told the Sunday newspapers, and it all came out, and it was all misunderstood and horrific and awful. One good thing that did come out of all that furore was that I got a call from a lady called Donna Ross, who has lost 7 stone herself on a gastric band, and she runs a company called the Hospital Group, and they do that operation here in Britain. And she said to me, "We don't understand why it's not working for you. It should be working. They're brilliant little things. Why don't you come along and we'll try and find out what's wrong?" And when they x-rayed me, we found that the band had been put in the wrong place.
Ooh.
It couldn't have worked, really. And when we reoperated and I had a band put in the proper place, I am now 4 stones lighter and 5 dress sizes slimmer, and the most important thing is that I'm healthier, and it does work. But I think what I wanted to, and the thing is, now that people have seen that I am slimmer, they think the Belgian operation was what did the trick. And I can't allow that untruth out. I had to come out and tell the truth, that it had to be reoperated upon. And I think telling that story and telling those facts will arm other people who want to go down the same route, who maybe want to go abroad for an operation. I'm basically saying, all right, it's your choice, but at least know the facts.
Do you think that having gone through this in such a public way, it was very painful to you personally?
Oh gosh, there were times when it was really awful. I mean, it's bad enough being overweight without suffering the stigmatisation and, you know, the brickbats being thrown at you by society, but particularly by the media. I mean, our media just don't like fat. I don't know why, when you think most of the editors of most of our national newspapers could do with a gastric band themselves, come to think of it. But there's a tremendous prejudice against fat in this country. There's this idea that it is only caused by slothfulness and greed and laziness and stupidity. And there are an awful lot of lovely people out there who are battling their weight the same way I was, and they're not slothful, lazy, greedy and horrible. They are just ordinary human beings to whom fat has happened. That's why I set up a website called fathappens.com. It's not an excuse, it's not condoning fat, it's not saying accept fat, it's saying fight it in your own way and try, you know, buddy together, let's be a community, and try and stop the prejudice that makes it harder.
Now, I've been onto your website, I've been looking at it, and I've got to be honest, the first thing that attracted me were the recipes.
Oh,
They really
good.
were.
Well, there are some good recipes on it. Yes.
And I was looking at my...
Are you somebody who thinks a lot about food?
Oh, I love food. I'm a great food lover.
I love food. The great thing is I can still enjoy it. I mean, you have to be able to find a way to still enjoy food and lose weight and be healthy, don't you? That's what makes life worth living.
Do you think that this has helped cut away the guilt of and the constant overthinking of food?
Gosh, I hope so. I don't think it's done that trick yet, because I think we have an enormous obstacle to overcome, but I hope it's doing its bit, yes.
Now, Mr. Summers, from a layman's terms, what does this procedure entail?
Well, gastric banding is one of the operations that has been developed over the last 10 years or so to help people combat a problem with their diet, and banding happens to be a simple, straightforward keyhole procedure where a little inflatable rubber ring is put around the top of the stomach so that when food goes into the stomach it sits in this little pouch and stretches it so that you feel full more quickly. So you have to eat slowly, chew your food properly, and you have to stop much more quickly than you would otherwise during a meal.
So rather than it just being purely physical, it actually affects people in the way they think.
It does, because you just know you can't overdo it. You can't sit down in front of a pizza and eat it all and then feel guilty. It just will not go. You have to sit there, eat it slowly, and by the time you've had time to actually eat more than a slice, it's gone cold and everyone else has left. So it helps you control those times when you just overdo it and you can't help yourself.
Are there any categories of people who really shouldn't consider this as a first option?
Well, I don't think anyone should consider it as a first option. They really need to have either been helped with dieting through either one of the commercially available dieting clubs or via their GP with tablets, etc. But for most people who are seriously overweight, I think eventually they come to the conclusion they can't do it themselves, and that's when they need to seek specialist advice.
I think that's the thing, is that people will know. I mean, elective surgery is a huge decision to make. But you make it when you've been there and tried everything else, and you really are at the end of your tether about your weight. And also, you know you've got to do something proactive about your health. It's still a big decision to make then, but I just wanted to make sure that people then make an informed decision, because, you know, as with lots of things that are available on the internet, you can go down the wrong avenue if you're not careful, and I just wanted to make sure that people are armed with the facts.
So for people that want to find out more about this, where is your tour going to be going?
Well, we're going all around the country. We're still fixing venues now because the response, just from this blinking picture I did in the Daily Mail the other day, the response has been amazing. See, that's even more, I feel this tremendous sense of responsibility. I can't allow people to think it's easy. I can't allow people to think it's sort of magic and instant. But also, it's so widely known now that I went to Belgium for this operation, because it was in all the Sunday papers at the time, that I can't allow them to think that that's what did the trick. It was an awful lot more complicated than that, and you need to know my story. So, you know, go to fathappens.com. You'll be able to read what happened to me. You can make your own mind up then. There are lots of links to places where you'll be able to get really good advice. And I think, you know, then you'll be able to make up your own mind for yourself. We're all individuals. We've got to be able to make up our own minds. But you can only do that if you know the facts. You're armed with knowledge.
And there's how do we get our hands on the tickets for the show?
At the moment, the only way to keep in touch with how we're fixing up the venues is fathappens.com.
Fathappens.com. Right, well, Mr. Summers and Anne Diamond, thank you both very much for joining us today on Ivel FM.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And very separately, Anne, your dad was a teacher, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
At Talbot Heath.
Yes, he was.
He taught my sister.
Maths or physics? Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember which one.
Yes, my dad was. Yeah, my dad was a scientist and mathematician, and when he was sort of retiring, he got a job at Talbot Heath, where my sister went to school.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, my sister always spoke fondly
He
of him.
taught some very unruly children there, and had a
My
wonderful
sister's
time.
probably
Yeah.
one of them.
Oh, how lovely!
So,
isn't that nice?
Wish you all the best for the future.
Oh, thank you.
And hope this all goes very well, and talk to you soon.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.